Good evening, Seminole Nation. What's going on? I'm Aslan Hajavandi, joined by founder and administrator of Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source, Gene Williams, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Promo code scrolling at the bottom of your screen, Warchant30 is the promo code, 30 for days of access to the website. Phone number scrolling on the bottom as well. Lots to talk about. Gene was on top of stuff. These are things that you would know before it was really official, if you remember, because Gene was talking about spring football on the site earlier this week. But before we start talking about news, cheers, gentlemen. We made it through another week.
We did it.
Cheers.
We did it, gang.
So I mean, we made it through the week. I gave you guys all tomorrow off.
No, we'll be working.
It's still Thursday, man.
What's with the Pepsi stuff, Corey? I can't wrap my head around being an Atlantan and drinking Pepsi.
Yeah, it's a good question. I like Diet Pepsi more than Diet Coke. So when I'm drinking Diet, I traditionally go the Diet Pepsi route, but I'm trying to cut down on my caffeine. So if you'll notice, this is a small one. It's a really small bottle. It's half the size.
Airplane bottle.
So that's taking care of my body. It's a temple. You only get one of these.
That's right. So, Gene, you had heard maybe a spring date was going to be thrown out there for the Garnet and Gold game, and you nailed it right on the bullseye. April 10th, is that what we're going to be partying on?
That's it, man. So they're at least planning, in this age of COVID, anything could change. But right now, everything around athletics and boosters, they're planning on an April 10th spring game. Of course, you knew that had to be the day because it was road baseball that weekend. They would never want to put baseball together. That would be horrible to have those two events the same day. We can't have that. So, yeah, April 10th, let's hope it goes through, and hope you're a little bit more open then. I know a couple of years ago we had a fun little Warchant event before, and if we're allowed to be open a little bit, man, I'll definitely shoot for that to get some of our subscribers and some of those pillars. I like your idea of the director's chair, so maybe we'll set that up for them. Nice and socially distanced, some director's chair with their names on the back. So that'd be wonderful. So we're shooting for that. We'll shoot for the stars.
All right, well done. Awesome, good stuff. Ira, you were on the call with Leonard Hamilton this morning, always on the clock for us, toiling away Saturday. There will be a basketball game, revenge on the mind of the Noles. How did Leonard strike you when you spoke to him on the conference call this morning?
He was a little feisty. I think they had about 4 or 5 days off going into this game. One thing he did mention is that they were a little bit I wouldn't say beleaguered, but playing 3 games in 6 days took its toll, and so they're glad to have a little bit of time off this week. But he likes the way they're playing offensively. Still has a lot of concerns defensively. When I tried to compliment the defense, he wasn't having any part of that. So typical Leonard Hamilton. But yeah, should be a fun game Saturday to get a chance to get some revenge on Clemson.
There we go, 3 p.m. Hopping it back to football. So, Gene, what do we think then? If the spring game is going to be April 10th, in March, are we going to be back on the grind in March, we think? Early March?
Yeah, if you kind of go back and based on what they've done previously, that would be sometime that first week in March, man. We're going to be launching spring practice. So, yeah, we'll see if it's the same kind of grind. My guess at this point, because it's coming up so quick, we might still be in the whole Zoom world when it comes to covering spring football practice. But, man, just let us, a couple of us hang out in baseball up there to watch a little bit. Aslan, you could shoot up there, right? Get some nice shots.
Yeah, for sure. I'm totally fine up there. I won't complain about being up there. That nice perspective. Put on the tripod, boom. Got it. We'll be locked and loaded, man. I'm ready to return out there. I want to be on the grass. Remember Herm Edwards, leave it all on the grass? I want to leave it all on the grass, guys. I want to be back out there, man. Corey, I can see it in your eyes too right now. Look at you rearing up on your chair. You're ready to go, man.
I'm ready to go. I'm feisty. I'm ready to talk some Florida State football. Yeah, it would be cool if we could go. At least one of us could go out there. I know they don't, maybe not want all 4 of us or 5 of us out there, but it would be cool to see. Just do what we did last year. I mean, I feel like we were pretty socially distanced last year when we were outside. It's an enormous field, so maybe they can make some concessions. But we'll see. They give us so many players. You don't want to beg too much. They're above and beyond in the access to the football program, but it still would be cool to watch Mackenzie Milton throw a football.
Yeah, we hope to get some more players to speak with next week. Speaking of Mackenzie Milton, you read it, Ira, because you're busy and stuff. So Mike Bianchi apparently touched base with Mackenzie Milton's mother, and he got the all good when he was up in Minnesota earlier this week. Sounds like.
Yeah, and I don't think it was unexpected. I think it was kind of a formality from what we had heard. They, basically, unless something changed, that's what he was going to be told, and he was. And so, I still don't expect him to get any contact until the fall. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like he'll be good to go, and that's obviously great news for Florida State because whether or not I don't know that he's guaranteed to win the starting job, but if he can run around a little bit with his arm, you would think he's got the inside track.
Make him live. Just make him live for the whole spring, Ira. Why not? It's going to be live in a football game, right?
Prove it, Mackenzie. This isn't UCF. Prove it here.
Exactly right.
All righty. It is a call-in show after all, so let's go ahead and hop on into the queue. We got a bunch of people already lined up, and at the top of the list, per usual, VIP, Mr. VA Beach, Virginia Beach's own Gator Kirk joining us here on the program. Gator Kirk, what's going on, man?
It's happy hour, guys. How you guys doing tonight? Of course,
good. Let's go.
Every hour.
The dream.
You're a Noles fan.
That's right. Good call. We're doing fantastic, Gator Kirk. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Get those numbers up there.
That's right.
I'll do some of this stuff early, so make sure you eat Zaxby's.
That doesn't hurt.
And join Warchant. I mean, if you join Warchant, maybe there'll be a link to get some Warchant swag you can order before the spring game. So
maybe.
But before I forget, would they let you fly a drone? Maybe Aslan could get a drone and he could fly it over the spring game and get some shots.
I'd love to, man.
You're trying.
Drone, we get a sponsor for it. I'm down with it.
You guys are trying to get us shut down, is what you guys are trying
That's
to get.
legitimately as much. I mean, when you talk about social distancing, Aslan's in his car. He's not anywhere near those guys, and he's just controlling a drone. What? I mean, there's no threat there at all.
There's literally a sign on campus that
some student out there with a drone. So anyway, my question is, which defensive transfer do you believe will have the biggest impact next year?
Biggest impact.
I know Corey knows this one. I think we're going to be in agreement on this one, right, Corey?
Yeah, the former dog.
You got it.
From the great city of Athens, Georgia. Well, that's not where he's from originally, but where he matriculated the last few years in Athens, Georgia. I think Jermaine Johnson's the guy. Yeah. My opinion, anyway.
Just a modicum of a pass rush would do wonders for this defense. I mean, that was by far the biggest weakness, and what a difference that could make. Just having a decent, not an elite pass rusher, but just a decent one there for a change, I think would do wonders for the defense.
All right, you want to go against the grain at all, or you want to make it unanimous?
Man, I like Keir Thomas. I like Keir Thomas a lot, and I just think his versatility, the fact that he can set. One thing about his grade is, his overall grade isn't spectacular, but his run defense grade is very, very good. I think it's in the 70s. And a defensive end who can help against the run is a defensive end FSU fans should like. So, Jermaine Johnson's going to be the guy that gets after the quarterback, but I think that combination is going to be really good.
I like it.
So he says he's going to start at defensive end. We think. I mean, he's going to be more of like a Mario Edwards. We think maybe like a poor man's Mario Edwards, set the edge, kind of help keep contained. Is that what we think, Ira?
I would think so. It's so hard to know exactly. Adam Fuller was putting in a new defense last season. Keir Thomas is supposed to be that Fox position, which I guess Janaris Robinson had last year. But I think it's it can do multiple things. I think he's a guy that you would think could be able to help set the edge and really do a good job. Again, his versatility is good too. So if you go with a 3-man front, he could be a big defensive end. I think kind of like, I'm not saying he's the same skill set as Mario Wilson, but Marvin Wilson, but similar in that kind of versatility because Marvin showed the ability to do that as well.
I'm going to say Mackenzie Milton, man. It's 2021. Offense.
He said defense. He said defense, though.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, Jamie Robinson then, man. We need a dog in the backfield. We need a dog in the secondary. No dogs back there. Bunch of cats. We need a dog.
What was that?
The guy from Coastal Carolina. Remember the coach? We got a bunch of cats. We need some dogs.
That's right. He started licking his ball too. Like, oh.
If y'all haven't seen that video of that former Coastal Carolina, doing that whole cats and dogs thing, it is funny as hell.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. That was a good while ago, but yeah, that's an all-time just meltdown.
That's a good thing, though, right, Gator Kirk? You asked us a sincere question, and you just got 3 sincere answers, like different answers too, right? And that's the thing. We're not all the eggs are in the Jermaine Johnson basket. I mean, most of them probably are, but to Ira's point, you get another guy to help on the edge, and then a guy to help out in the secondary as you try to maybe transition more to a 4-2-5. So lots to be optimistic about, man.
Yeah, I think with Kier and Jermaine and maybe some of the other new guys, I think they're going to work better as a unit. So it may be a collective effort. They may, build each other up so they'll all improve together. So, hopefully, well, it's got to be better than last year, or we won't have the same DC for a while. But, I always appreciate everything y'all do, all the information you provide. Sometimes it's a little hard to keep up with if you got a job, but that's why they make late night.
That's right. You got to make sacrifices, man.
Noles, y'all have a great night.
Thanks, buddy.
Virginia,
Good, Kirk.
joining us on the program. Let's go from the Virginia beach area. Let's go to the beaches on the Atlantic coast. To our friends on the Gulf Coast. Let's go down to Naples. We got Mark, Matt AMCZ on the Travel Council. What's going on, Mark? Good evening to you.
Wake up. Happy hour.
That's right. That is right.
Just nursing a little vodka and soda here and enjoying
There we go.
time after work.
I'm glad I'm not drinking alone. Look at Ira and Corey. They're just drinking sodas tonight.
No, Ira's in the game.
No,
Oh, okay. I thought that was like
didn't let you down. I let you
soda.
down.
All right. It's Corey that's letting us down.
If I'd have gotten beer, I went to the grocery store yesterday, Gene. I forgot to get the sweet nectar of Ultra, and so I'm stuck with the Diet
right.
Pepsi.
What's up, Mark?
Real quick, what's up, guys? On the show recently, Corey's been asking, what made you get into FSU and et cetera.
Right.
I grew up in the Boston area, then we moved to Naples when I was young, and I'm ashamed to say I went to a golf camp at UF. So I was grew up, kind of like the Gators, but I went to law school at Florida State in 2000, the Wanky's Heisman year. Not only was it amazing football, but anybody who was at the law school who went to UF undergrad, I just couldn't stand. It was, it literally like made me garnet and gold for life, and then it just kind of went from there.
Awesome, man. Good decision.
That's a couple answers we've gotten where it's not so much the Florida State was the attraction as much as getting away from Florida Gator fans was the attraction. Which we all can understand that. Ira, right?
How's your golf game, Mark?
I'm actually on the range right now where I live, and I'm taking a little break to talk to you awesome guys. I played undergrad at Tulane in New Orleans, but now I'm a dad and I work, so not as good as before.
So at your pinnacle, what were you driving?
I've never been the longest hitter. I'm more of a scrappy scraper, great short game.
Like me.
So that's kind of more like Fred Funk instead of Tiger or something.
Fred Funk. There we go.
That's all right.
Well, how good were you when you were at your peak?
Jeff Blumen. What's that?
What's your handicap?
Right now it's a 3.
Oh.
One probably at my best, but
Hey, hey, Mark. Right now you're on the Warchant team. Corey's kicked off. You're on next Warchant team. You're on.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, we got first dibs, Mark, and you better bring it. I don't want one of these. I haven't played in a couple months. You better be awesome.
That'd be fun. Yeah, let me know anytime you want me to come up. I will. The brief question I have is, so in the spring game, I'm planning on coming up for it. Do you want to see more of a just Mackenzie Milton out there throwing for 4 touchdowns and torching the scoreboard, or do you want to see the defense play with some tenacity and maybe show some stuff that they haven't in a while? I mean, obviously we'd like to see both, but what are you looking for? And do you know what kind of spring game that Norvell typically runs? Is it going to be traditional garnet versus gold, or does he do something different?
That's a good question. We didn't get that far in the spring to find out what he does format wise. I would say this, man. I personally, and you guys may differ, but I want to see offense in the spring game. Yeah. If it's 6-3 in the spring game, I'm thinking, man, this is going to suck as a season. So give me some scoring, give me some offense.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. Like as far as it's much more fun to watch 50-46. But buddy, if that defense still looks like that defense,
I'm not saying I want it to look like that in the fall. I'm just saying in a spring, if it's a spring game and there's no hope on this offense, because nobody's going to walk out of the spring game going, oh man, our defense is going to be great. I can't wait for this season.
Yeah, but you want to see some improvement. I think we all agree that the offense will be better. Like we believe in the offense. We believe in the guys running the offense and what their vision and what they do. We saw some signs at least of a capable, maybe high-scoring offense. We saw Jack squat from that defense. They gave up 35 to Duke.
I mean, let the other panelists talk here. But what I would say though is the only thing that people are really excited about right now is Mackenzie Milton and the hope on that side of the ball. I don't think people are like hanging their hats on the defense.
Yeah, Corey, we're talking practice.
Yeah,
come on, spring practice. People want to see Mackenzie throw it around. Imagine if he goes out there, like Ira said, he throws for 3-4 touchdowns, 400 yards. People are going to be so excited. I know you're probably right in the grand scheme. It's a better sign if the defense is playing better. But, I mean, for the excitement level of the fan base, and Mackenzie goes out there and shows physically he's ready to roll, that there's been no drop-off and he's picking up where he left off, man, it's going to be palpable, the excitement going into that Notre Dame season opener. So, yeah, I'm with Ira on that. Sure, I'd like to see both. But, yeah, given one of the two, Mackenzie, offense, light it up.
Here's what you'd want to see. You want to see him make some incredible throws to well-covered receivers. How about that? Just put it right where it has to be. You don't want to see dudes streaking down the middle of the field with nobody near him over and over again.
Apparently, you want to see him get incomplete after incomplete.
You'd like to see some pass rush. I'd like to see some finger wags.
A few field goals. Oh, finger wagging.
Aslan, help us out here. Which side are you taking?
2018, the spring game showcased 15 tackles for loss in Memphis. He also does guest coaches. That year, he had guest coaches. So he had like former alumni. D'Angelo Williams was the guest coach on one side of the team. So maybe he'll bring back maybe some former great Florida State players. I don't want to abandon Corey in the middle of a 2-1 battle here.
Pile on.
I'm an offensive guy, man. I want to see them slinging the ball, man.
Yep.
Because I don't know if defense is always ahead of the offense when preseason camp starts. Like, wouldn't it just be nice to see the offense kind of like, so when the defense does come out strong, we hear in like those first practices in July, the defense is ahead of everything. I was like, oh, that's cool. They caught up because we saw how good the offense looked on April 10th.
All right, we'll see. Okay. We'll see what the tenor and tone of the message boards are if they give up 50 points.
And nobody's expecting the defense to do well anyway. Mark, what do you want to see?
I'm kind of with you guys. I mean,
Corey, it's a route, Corey.
Well, no, I think actually Corey's statement was pretty cool. You want to see Mackenzie slinging it into tight coverage with good play. You want to see the defensive ends getting some pressure and him getting rid of the ball quick. So, but yeah, we want to see that Mackenzie is healthy and that he's really going to bring this team into 2021 as a maybe an ACC contender. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Good
All right, Mark, keep them straight on the range, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, we'll do. Thanks, guys. Go Noles. Take care.
See you, man.
That's Matt AMCZ, Mark in Naples, joining us from the range, sipping on a vodka soda at 5:20 in the afternoon on a Thursday.
Living the life, man.
At the driving range, knocking down some vodkas.
Hey, man, how about this? Let's get the show real right now. 7 Toms in the house. Bang.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Hey, man, thanks so much, 7 Toms. You're always around these shows and asking questions and interacting with everybody in the show. Man, we really do appreciate it. Redbeard says 7 Tom says, since Redbeard and End to Wind can't be here, I'll throw a little extra shout out to them. I guess my question is, do you guys think Bruce Warwick is slated to become the athletics director, or do you think wait till we get another president and let him decide? That's your account, Gene. Administrative duties.
If I had to guess, I think more if they're going to hire from within, probably Michael Alford from the head of the Seminole Boosters. I think he would be the leading candidate to go within. But obviously, the president and the board of trustees is going to ultimately make that decision. So, until I guess we're only a couple months away from President Thrasher stepping down. So we don't know at this point, but I would put Alford 1 and Warwick 2 on that one. What about you, Ira?
Yeah, no, I think Michael Alford is definitely going to be in the running. And then, like you said, the new president's going to be, you would assume, going to be able to make a final decision, because it sounds like David Coburn is going to stay in place through the transition till a new president arrives. But I mean, there's some FSU ties out there. There are people that are going to be interesting to see if people get behind. You're going to see people.
Give us a hot board, Ira.
I think people are going to be throwing their support behind Jeff Purinton, who's really raised.
I'd love Bart Mayhew. That'd be a good one.
Mayhew was up for it when Randy Spetman got hired, which was a debatable choice. But Jeff Purinton, who's at Alabama, Magdy, who's out there, has been at USC and has been, I think he's at Georgia now, I believe. So there's some guys with some people with FSU ties, but then there's also you don't know who the president. If the president coming in is somebody who already has an AD that they like or connections, then they could go in a completely different direction. So we assume that'll all be done in the next. You would assume by next football season, you would think.
And Jeff Purinton's been at Alabama for at least – he was never at Florida State since I've been in Tallahassee. So he's been there for at least 13 years, right? 13 or 14 years.
Yeah, I think he went around 2000.
Did he go with Saban?
He didn't he did. In fact, I think he went there exactly – he went down to work at the Orange Bowl. He left FSU to work at the Orange Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
And then I think some people recommended him I've heard different people recommended him to Saban when he went to Alabama. And so he's been there since. He started off as kind of his PR guy, but has risen, and now he oversees sports. I mean, he's like an assistant athletic director.
The only time I was near him was after the Xavier Lee game against Alabama in the house that Xavier built, when a woman down in the alley, or down in the bowels of the stadium outside the press conference, asked Bobby Bowden for an autograph. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And then Saban comes walking by, and she asks him for an autograph. And he stops, looks at her, with just utter disgust, and then keeps walking.
I actually wrote about that at the time.
Oh, I did too, I think. But yeah, it was. Oh, so yeah, we were there together. But yeah, that was. I'll never forget that. Just the look he had, like the audacity, because he had just lost a game and because he's Nick Saban.
He started his career at Alabama, according to his LinkedIn, August 2007. He was director of communication at the Orange Bowl before that. So
we nailed it. Nailed it, Ira.
Look at you guys. All right, 7 Thomas, appreciate the question. There's some good names, though, right? That's good. Florida State, the dynasty years, all that sort of synergy from that time still paying dividends, hopefully, with you guys. Got guys like Purinton and Mayhew out there that might want to come back home. Poor David Coburn, though, right? Like, is he Gilligan on the island? Like, supposed to be 2-hour tours. Hey, it's gonna hang out, be an AD for like a year. I got your back thrash. It's all good. And then now it's like year 3. Let me go home. John. Let's keep it rolling here on YouTube. There's the big dog.
Ooh, Ray.
Let's go, Ray.
Great cash, homie.
What's going on, Ray? Let's get this party started indeed. Question for Obi-Wan. That's Ira. No longer 5-star. Now he's just the guru.
Oh, all right. Okay.
You missed that, Corey.
I did.
I'm getting a hoodie like Obi-Wan.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good.
The 4-2-5, Ira. The virtues of the 4-2-5.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was going that direction anyway. The fact that they really weren't going hard after linebackers, especially in the transfer portal, I think some people started to think, connect the dots there that, hey, maybe the fact that they're not really hot and heavy after any linebackers, maybe they don't expect a lot of linebackers to be on the field. And then as we talked to Jamie Robinson last week, he basically let the cat out of the bag and said, hey, I'm coming here to be a nickelback. I'm going to be the best nickelback you've ever seen, which is a little crazy. But
physical, yeah.
And then he said that he would. But he said, Florida, we're expecting to be in the nickel more often than not, and that's
everybody.
College football nowadays. I mean, that's kind of what most people are doing anyway. I mean, although I guess what was it? Ohio State went with like a 4-4 against Alabama at times in the championship game, which
that worked.
Yeah, it worked out really well for them. So
yeah.
Nichols
trying to cover Devontae Smith with a slow-footed safety every now and again. Yeah.
So,
Corey, you all aboard the 4-2-5?
Yeah, man, that's football now, right? I mean, linebackers will be like my man Tyler Grubbs. As much as I love him, I don't know if there's a role for him in this offense, in this defense. I just don't. it is. You think about all the great players in history and where they would have fit in this. Like, I don't know why Andy Katzenmoyer came to mind, but he just did. The big cat.
Yeah, man.
Like, could he play defense in it? Would he couldn't. He wouldn't be a middle linebacker. Is he a rush end? Like, what would you do with somebody like him in this day and age? It's just the way football has evolved. You need more speedy skill guys to cover all the speedy skill guys on the other side.
But that's why in this nickel, I think what a guy like Jamie Robinson, who has great tackle numbers, who's able to catch. I mean, that's kind of he's really, you can say it's a 2 linebacker set, but he's really a hybrid. He's really a half safety, half linebacker. So, yeah, you can run the 4-2-5 as long as you have that guy. The problem is until Hamza came back at the end of the year, they didn't have that guy for most of this past season. So, yeah, I think Jamie Robinson, we talked about defensive players. We could look back a year from now, and he could be the guy that makes the biggest difference because he's got all the tools and love the attitude. And, man, he was really impressive in those interviews the other day.
Yeah, his tackling numbers. That's a lot of blue and green on there.
Look at those greens on the tackle. Woo!
Yeah.
I don't know what that 33, maybe he was hung over that day against Florida or something, but.
Muschamp running him too hard against his former team. That's how.
And look what he did at 19 as a tackler. He's great at 91%. Yeah, he is a sure tackler, and he hits you when you get hit. You've been hit. I dare say he might be the most physical nickel Florida State's ever had.
Wow, Marcus might disagree.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? I'm just going about what Baby said.
That's a high praise there, Corey.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Hey, Ray, thanks so much, man. As always.
Thank you, buddy.
You are one of the pillars. You do have one of those Hollywood director's chairs waiting for you.
Yes, and I'll say I saw Ray in the chat was talking about the Warchant gear. We are working on it. I'm still working on those hoodies. And Ray, trust me, we got one reserved for you.
Yeah, you don't have to pay, Ray.
No.
I got to get you in touch with this gentleman that's direct messaged me on Twitter, Gene. He can help design stuff, apparently.
Yes, I am waiting for the design. So, yeah, get that to me.
All right, we'll see what we can do. Let's keep it rolling here on YouTube. Redbeard actually is in the house after all 7 Toms.
Nice.
There we go. Get some. 50 bones, man. Redbeard, thanks so much. Appreciate you. Says, hello, gentlemen. I'm coming to you from work. So do we think that if Mike Norvell cannot get it done with all these upgrades that we just made, that all hope is lost for the future? This is my account. This is negative account. Let's go. What, Obi-Wan, give us something, Ira. Give us some insight. Give us some sage knowledge.
Man, you really got to hope that doesn't happen.
That's
I mean, that's all I can tell you. If they go out and get 8 or 9 transfers, almost all of which are expected to start, and they go out there and don't get any better, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know I don't even know where you'd turn, because you'd be having to replace all those guys. He'd be replacing some assistant coaches. Yeah. It would be you just can't. You just have to assume that that's not going to happen. I'm not answering that hypothetical, Redbeard. Maybe these guys will.
No, I don't want to touch that one. That it'd be a mess. That's a worst case scenario. I don't think that's realistic. I can't even imagine with the guys they're bringing in, the guys they took off. And I know, Corey, I like to compliment you that often, but that was a nice story you did last week and kind of comparing who they lost and who they brought in. And all I meant to tell you, that was circulated as a memo. I heard inside of Athletics and the Boosters, that the little graphic that our social media manager did from your story. So well done. But it's hard to look at those numbers and figure that it could be as bad. It doesn't even seem possible.
What do we think can't get it done means, though? Like similar record?
Yeah, like 3-4 wins. I mean, and getting blown out by teams like Pitt. I mean,
yeah. But is 6 wins getting it done?
Oh well, if Redbeard thinks getting it done means winning 10 games, then no, that's not going to happen.
I thought he meant the same. Basically, it's the same kind of. We have the same feeling at the end of the year.
That's what I assume too. But Corey's right, and you have to define your terms.
Let's say Redbeard's maybe clarified in the comments section. He has not thus far. So
all right.
I don't think even with these upgrades, it's not realistic to expect them to win 9-10 games. They could happen. I'm just saying it's not like you wouldn't go into the season setting that as the bar. I think the bar is, winning about 7 games probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just getting completely blown out when you're playing decent teams. You think about this year, they didn't even have to play Clemson in Florida, and they still looked the way they looked in some of those games. I mean, so I want to see how they compete against the good teams, starting with Notre Dame, obviously, but just win some coin toss games. Win 5 or 6 games, that's fine. Don't be out of the game at halftime in the other 3. Like,
how about being blown out by average teams? I mean, Louisville.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can't get blown out by below average teams. That's just
NC State wasn't all that competitive. Pitt wasn't competitive in the second half once Travis went down. Just stop that. Stop that nonsense and just be competitive. And then I feel like that would be a good sign where you think there's not all hope is lost for the future.
Question. Manny Diaz did the same thing, right? Year one did not go really all that well. A little bit better than obviously what Florida State had last season. And then does this huge influx of, transfers, ready-made guys. He goes from 6-7 to 8-3. I mean, they flirted in the top 10 for a long while. Was that 6-7 team that much better in 2019 at Miami than what Mike Norvell had last season? So that we're not going to define getting it done as 8+ wins?
Well, one thing I would say is you got to remember, nobody had those 2, cupcake games this year. So what was 8 and so if they were 7-3 in the regular season, they really might have been 9-3. Florida State was 3-6.
So you're saying they're a 5-win team?
Well, I'm just saying that Miami really went from 6 wins to maybe a team that would have won 10 games if it had been a regular season. I think they were much better.
Yeah, I think, but the one, again, I said this on Seminole Headlines, but the baseline that Miami had in 19 was they did not have an all-time awful defense. They had average to decent defense. And then they brought in guys that could make their offense much better, plus 2 pretty good rush ins. Florida State's going from a place of having a crater of a defense and having to fill in a huge hole. So that to me is the biggest difference is your defense is so bad that even if your offense makes huge strides, if your defense is even remotely similar to what it was last year, you're not going to win a bunch of games. It's going to be really almost impossible.
But Miami was as bad at the end of 2019 as Florida State was this year. I mean, they lost to FIU, Duke, and then Louisiana Tech back to back in the season. They got 30 points to FIU.
Yeah, but they gave up, they looked Louisiana Tech 14-0. Like that was all offense at the end.
Yeah, that's a problem too.
And then they made a huge, they got a huge pickup for the offense. The defense wasn't the reason they were losing all those games. Florida State, the defense is the reason. Well, one of them. There are plenty of reasons to go around.
This isn't wake up Cane sport. Let's.
Sorry, good point. Come on, Aslan.
Redbeard, thank you very much. Well, I was asking for someone, you and I, Ira, that's going to have to talk about this team 150 times before they kick the ball off. I'm trying to find the comparison round of being practical and like, hey, this is how it was last year, but then also realizing it's Florida State University and you just injected and infused all this talent. So, I mean, like a 6 wins, really, a little too practical. We need to be a little bit maybe head in the clouds, but for now, we'll say practical. We're not going to fire off.
Wait till we see that spring game.
Yeah,
then we'll go up.
Tom Giddings in the house. Appreciate you, Thomas. Welcome to the Terror Dome. It's a question for Corey before he gets to bed because Thomas works 3 jobs. Guy's amazing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's got to get up at 3 a.m.
Has Coach Ham been in contact with you about Brady on the hardwood, or is Meat trying to lock him down on the diamond?
I've made this comparison to Ira. I've actually told him Brady's had a couple games this year. You guys know what Brady looks like. He scored 18 or 20 points, which is a lot at this level. And as a dad, you start like, okay, you start letting your mind wander a little bit. Like, man, this could be something. And then, like, maybe if he worked really hard, he has a chance, even though he's only going to be 5'10". And then, as Ira pointed out, watching Raekwon Evans in warmups just do ridiculous dunks before a game, and you're like, he can't. I don't know what level Brady can reach, but there's certainly a ceiling. So no, it will not be at Florida State. I'm going to go ahead and say that he would have to be the best. Imagine Leonard bringing in a 5'10" guard. That doesn't happen anyway. And a 5'10" guard that can't jump out of the gym.
He doesn't answer the phone if you're 5'10" and calling.
Yeah, that's right. You got to be 6'4". He won't even answer the phone. So no talks with Leonard or Meat about baseball. We'll get there. We'll get there. Or Norvell about football yet.
What about Trey Jones? There's a sport for him.
Oh, he's golf. No, it's too expensive, Gene. It's too expensive, Gene. And I'm so bad at it that I couldn't go out on the course with him.
Well, we appreciate you, Thomas. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Here's a new pillar to the show. Talk about Ham and the new
Shane.
Hank Kirkley's got some new blood in him. Get some.
Oh.
Everything. He gets it all. Let's go, Shane. Let's go. $179. That's $1 for every day until the spring game, plus $100 for all the great work the Warchant family does. Hashtag Warchant gear. He's also advocating.
Yeah, I think Shane has got himself a hoodie.
Yeah.
Cheers, Shane.
Yeah, he gets a hoodie for the whole family.
Thank you so much, Shane. Kirk Noel, as we know him on the message boards. Thanks so much, man. It's fantastic. I really appreciate it. I don't know what to say. I'm terrible at showing emotions. I'm a robot. I'm always sad and cynical because Corey's trying to get me better, though. One of these days, right?
Yeah.
Kirk Noel, ask a question or something, man. Make me work for this $100 or so. By the way, that's him at the Cotton Bowl Classic kickoff against Oklahoma State in 2014. In case you're wondering where that photo was taken.
Remember those days, guys?
White and gold jerseys.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. The big catastrophe with the jersey numbers.
The only person I ever knew actually who had caught the ball was Nick O'Leary, for reasons you can probably assume. Everything else, I'm like, who is that? Is Benjamin back? Is that Rashad Green? Is that Christian Green? I cannot tell.
And I remember we talked to somebody at FSU and we're like, what in the world? And they're like, well, we tested them, but not with these lights.
That's what they blame the lights.
Yeah, man. Anyway,
I
got a question
on my phone. They've spelled PJ Williams' name wrong on the back of his jersey. It's really, they put Williams with only one L on the back of his jersey. Everything was terrible. Everything was bad.
Wasn't also the arrow like flaking off the helmets as well?
They were, yeah. They were.
The stickers were coming off.
The stickers were all coming off. Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the beginning of the end. The signs were everywhere. If we'd have just looked.
Ira, were you about to say something, man? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say if we don't have any callers, I was going to ask you guys a question.
Oh, we have callers. But we've got all these people throwing American currency at our face, so they kind of.
Okay. Well, I don't want to gum up the works. I had a silly question, but go ahead.
It's not. I'm sure it's a great question. Hey,
it's not germane at all.
Shane, thanks so much, man. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, Shane.
Good grief, all these people. It's amazing. Thanks so much, everybody, for your generosity. Curtis Marshall throwing $5 our way. Is pup in front of Doak. Very nice photo. Like it. How will the schedule work this season? Do we lose out on the home games we were supposed to have last season, i.e. Clemson and Florida? I love the happy hour. Cheers.
That is a great question, Curtis. We do not know that yet. Like I'm curious. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when Clemson and Florida State argue about who's getting the home game this year. Because of course it's supposed to go back to Clemson. FSU's going to be like, no, you had your whole COVID issue, and of course Dabo blames FSU for that. So that'll be fun to see how that works out. We don't really know how that's going to play out yet.
It's leaning, reading the tea leaves, it's leaning towards not a good resolution for FSU. Not necessarily because the ACC is going to make them, but just because it messes up all the other schedules for years to come. If they balance all that years ahead of time, how many home games, how many away games. I don't think.
Well, that's fine. Clemson needs to pay what FSU lost in revenue because they screwed it up.
I'm with you on that, buddy. But
the problem is it was going to be a game of what 14,000 fans there.
Well, still, it's a million. I think they get a million instead of 2 point whatever million,
as opposed to a game with 80,000 fans.
Yeah,
there. That's a big gap in revenue. What about Florida, Ira or Gene?
Yeah, same thing. I don't think they're going to change those games.
So Florida State's not going to get Clemson. They're going to go 3 or 4 years.
They lost
their
two biggest home games last year. Yeah,
and that's
from everything I can tell. Now maybe they'll figure out a way to make it up to them somehow, but from what I can tell,
they do it in 1 year, like in Tampa or somewhere Jacksonville, and split the revenue. That make it a neutral site game. That seems like a good compromise.
Yeah, maybe they can do that the next year.
Yeah, down the road. Yeah, when everything is back to normal. All right, thanks for that question, Curtis. Let's grab a caller on the phone lines. Have been waiting around for a long while. If you're going to bring it, if you're going to ask multiple questions, if you could just go ahead and throw both of your questions at the same time, that way we can be in a more efficient manner. We got Daryl from Thomasville, North Carolina. What's going on, Daryl? How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? We got the general and we got the general. We got the Cola. We got the 5-star. Then we got the man that we got the captain that rides the ship. So it's good to talk to y'all guys. My question is with McKenzie. With McKenzie, is he with being cleared the other day? Is he able to do the winter workouts, or are they holding him back for to do the spring drills.
Daryl, I know you usually have two questions. Do you have anything else, or is that the only question you had was about Mackenzie?
My second question is with the I guess with Texas coming after one of our linebacker coach.
Yeah.
Have y'all heard anything else different with that, or is it still kind of up in the air with that?
All right, Gene, you want to take Mackenzie?
Thank you, Daryl. Well, I mean, we've been out to, and I'm hoping, we'll see if we can get out to tour of duty, for instance, which they do every Friday. I'm hoping we'll get out there. The fact that he's been medically released and the tour of duty is a non-contact thing, so I can't imagine he's not doing that, or at least most of that at this point. Mackenzie, and we heard some of the other transfers talk about. We talked to Mackenzie before, right before they did it, and then we talked to the other ones after. So I can't imagine that he's not doing everything, unless you've heard something different. I would assume he's doing everything in terms of off-season workouts that the rest of the team is doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the impression I have. I haven't spoke to somebody that said anything different, but yes, the impression and everything we've heard has been, and I think Gene's said it as well, but like everything we've heard is that he's been everything FSU could have hoped for and more in terms of leadership. Just a good guy in meetings and in the locker room. So all that's been really good. The other question was about Marv. Yeah, I think that's going to be. My guess is that's going to be something we have to kind of watch over the coming days. It wasn't like what we hadn't heard that they made an offer. We had heard he was on their list. So we'll just kind of have to see how that plays out. But the good thing is, I mean, on the one hand, Chris Marv has coached. He has moved around a little bit. He was willing to leave his alma mater, Vanderbilt, to go to Mississippi State. He was willing to leave there to come here. So it's not like he's a guy that's necessarily going to stay in one place forever, and he's an up-and-coming coach. So I don't think you would rule it out that he might leave after 1 year. But we also know he's really, really respects Mike Norvell a whole lot. And it's not like Texas, I don't know, is Texas that – what do you guys think? Is Texas that much of a better job than Florida State? You're going in with a new head coach who didn't succeed at his last place, and you're going into your second year here at Florida State. I don't know. I don't know that it's a job where you just jump to Texas because if they come calling.
More money. Pete Kwiatkowski is a pretty, well-respected defensive coordinator, and he's starting from scratch, so you probably are on a little bit firmer ground. And I don't know. I would assume, Corey, their linebackers are probably better than what Florida State has.
Yeah, I think maybe it's more of a bit of an upwardly mobile step. If your goal one day is to be a DC, do you think you have a better shot? I'm a head coach maybe, but do you have a better shot of becoming a DC by hanging around at Florida State coaching these linebackers, or going to Texas and coaching those linebackers with that defense? That would be, I don't know what the difference in the money will be. It'll be whatever Texas wants to pay, really. Florida State can't compete with the money they'd offer. But I wonder if money is always important, but will it also be more saying what he thinks can be done at Texas versus what he thinks can be done at Florida State? Because, again, he was on that ship last year. He knows how bad it was. So you wouldn't fault him, though, I don't think, if he took the Texas job.
I think it's lateral other than the money. I mean, obviously you're getting more money. I don't see a whole lot of difference at this point. Obviously you got more resources at Texas, and you got a drinking buddy in Sark. So there is that.
Come on, Gene. He's trying to stay on the wagon.
I only see one linebacker in their out of their top 10 graded defensive players, and he played a grand total of 92 snaps. So maybe their linebackers they're not nearly as flush at linebacker as one might assume at Texas, even though their defense has been a bugaboo for a while. Tom Herman had to get rid of his buddy, Todd Orlando, before this season, and that didn't help him keep his job. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on that one. But again, I guess it's a good thing in a certain degree that Mike Norvell is able to, pick out good assistants, because one got poached by A&M before he even coached the game, and then a guy who was overlooking and overseeing a unit that really didn't perform all that well is being coveted by Texas. So.
And he does have a history of having replaced coaches and doing a pretty good job with it.
Well, yeah, think of all the assistant coaches who were here when Willie Taggart was here. Where are they all getting upward great Power 5 jobs anywhere? So that tells you a little different in your quality of assistant coaches.
I'll answer that for you, Gene. No.
Well said, Ira.
They're not.
Wait, what in Alonzo Hampton? Didn't he get I don't know what happened there. He's moving up.
You are in a row, buddy.
Yeah. All right, Daryl. We appreciate the phone calls.
All right, guys. guys, y'all doing a fantastic job. And Gene, if y'all looking for T-shirt slogans, just remember put that slogan on there. If y'all having a great the greatest show on this side of heaven, man.
That's right. That's right.
Is that the slogan of you? I know.
We love y'all, and I'll keep on calling.
Appreciate it.
Great job, guys.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, I think Wake Up Warchant, Corey Naslin, you guys got to keep taking nominations or keep kind of discussing that slogan that we want to put on there.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few. We can.
I'll let you guys pick that one out for us.
Oh, that was going on. Mark at the range took a break off.
Oh,
280 down the middle of the fairway. Hundo. That's my man.
Wow.
Let's go, Mark. I just want to say thanks for taking my call earlier. Nothing better than hitting golf balls and listening to you four experts bringing it. Spring game 2021.
Absolutely. You better be there, Mark. You think it gets
Mark
boring?
Is a pillar. He's got his director chair.
Yeah, he's
and
definitely got a chair.
His
You
wife
think
gonna have to have one too.
Does it get boring to be that good at golf? Like at a range, I mean, where it's just everyone is striped down the middle, 260 or 280 or whatever. I feel like you just feel like, yeah, what else is new? Let me try to hit that tree, or let me aim at the cart. Like it just feels like if you're that good, I wonder if you just get lost in it. It's not that much fun.
It's like writing. It's like writing for you, Corey. You know.
Yeah, when I write a great column, it's like, well, yeah, no duh. That's what I do. It's ho hum. But when you write one, Ira, you want to sing it from the mountaintops.
I'm dancing.
Spike it. Spike your computer.
Mark, thanks so much, man. Again,
Thank you, Mark.
So generous, man. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Basketball, a great question. Abdel's in the house. Can anyone confirm if Caleb Mills is on campus yet? He's the transfer, right?
He is the transfer.
Yeah, he is a transfer. It's funny when he announced that he was going to transfer to Florida State. Literally, like a day before that, I heard Florida State was pretty much at the point where it was getting to the point where they weren't going to be able to bring in people for the rest of the semester because it was like, I don't know, it was a week into school, and everything's weird right now because of distance learning. There still aren't a lot of in-person classes, but my impression was that they were going to get him in for the spring semester. I haven't confirmed that, but I do think he's in for the spring semester. And then I don't know that we don't expect him to play.
We don't think he could play because he already played for Houston this year.
Yeah.
Ira, do you think that they haven't announced it though yet? Have they officially?
No, he's not on the roster. They haven't announced it yet.
So that would lead me to believe if he was already on campus, I feel like they would announce that. Also, you might see him at the game.
You never know with Leonard.
Yeah, that's true. You don't. But if you might see him at the game, like on Saturday, if he's there, that would tell us. And by the way, you guys all know that like everybody can come back next year, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole team can come back. I don't think they will. Like I don't think that MJ Walker is going to come back, but
I don't think Scotty Barnes is coming back.
Well, no, he definitely won't. But all the seniors, I think Raekwon Evans, MJ Walker, Wyatt Wilkes is a redshirt junior. Raekwon Gray's a redshirt junior. They can all come back and be juniors again.
Tenor Nagam, I think he was. That's actually something I was just thinking about. He's only, he came in as a grad transfer, or as a senior, but he'll have another year, and he's going to be an interesting prospect next season because I think you've already seen a lot of growth from him. And just
Ira, do you know if they have the same rules that baseball has, where you can have unlimited scholarships for this next year coming up?
Yeah, they extended it to the winter sports.
I was going to say, because otherwise he's going to have 19 guys on scholarship with the guys that are coming in next year, but it's not going to be a problem now.
So that means Leonard will rotate even more. We're going to have 13, 14 guys now in the rotation.
16 a game. Yeah.
Speaking of hoops, imagine if you put Trent Forrest and Scotty Barnes together, and you came up with a guy named Trent Barnes. And
Trent!
That's a simple question. Let's go.
Dollar bills.
Let's go, Trent. Simple question, gentlemen. Yeah, Gene said it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Trent. Bowl or no bowl? Come on, Corey. Bowl or no bowl?
I'm going to say bowl. I like bowl. I think they're going bowling. Not going to say which bowl, what fine city in this country they'll be going to, but I think they will be in a bowl.
Gene Williams, bowl or no bowl?
Bowl or bust. Bowl all the way. And I will say it'll either be Atlanta, Jacksonville, or Orlando will be one of those cities.
Oh, all right.
Ira, to bowl or not to bowl?
For the love of God, bowl.
Yeah.
Shreveport.
Oh,
Any port.
El Paso. I'm
Corey,
anywhere.
we got to send Corey back to Shreveport.
Literally any port, man. Any port. Just have a football game in December that you earned to get to play in.
I don't know, like you didn't like being at home with your wife and kids for the first Christmas in like 15 years.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say.
They're going to expect that now, Ira.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
It was awesome. I mean, Corey makes
You had a great time.
El Paso was great, man. It was awesome. They treated us like kings. It was great. Ate fantastically and drove us, gave us all the sort of access and help that we needed. So I'm all about it. And yeah, they got Jacksonville State and UMass as two of their non-conference games on top of Florida. And Notre Dame doesn't count because Notre Dame is ACC-ish or whatever. Hopefully Wake's maybe takes a little bit of a step back. Louisville kind of comes back down to earth. Just got to get 6 wins. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a waiver again this year where you can be.
Is Tutu gone from Louisville? Is he moving on? I hope. Did he declare?
Yeah, Tutu's gone.
Thank goodness.
Javian Hawkins is gone.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think if you've got 5-6 new starters on defense, I know you lose Asante Samuel, but say you have 6 new starters on defense, that side of the balls, and they're guys who are going to be invested and listen to what they're supposed to do. You got Emmett Rice returning. You've got some Mari Gaynor returning. I feel like that side of the ball is going to be better. Mackenzie Milton is anything close to what he was before. We're going bowling, boys. It's happening.
Look at Ira. Look at that enthusiasm.
Oh, nice. I love it, Ira. I'm going to need to see some out of that defense in the spring game. I'll tell you that much.
There he goes again.
Not going to want to give up 900 yards to Mackenzie Milton.
Hey, I already assigned him to call him on the defense after the spring game. That's Corey. He's got
Here we go again. Already got my lead. Here we go again. Hide your eyes, folks. It didn't matter. None of these transfers took it all. It doesn't matter.
People are going to be dancing in the streets when Mackenzie Milton throws for $5 bills in the spring game. Corey's going to be, what is this crap?
Yeah. Oh, anybody. I could have thrown for 400 against that nonsense. That'll be my column.
Hey, Trent, thanks so much for the question. Thanks for man. So generous of you. We got 2 callers. We got Tommy in Kentucky hanging tight. We'll get to you here in a second, I assure you. Pac-12 Dave talks about Corey there. We do have Wes from the Villages joining us now. Wes called in earlier but dropped off. Sorry for making you wait in line there, Wes. The floor is all yours, man. What's your question?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. I'll raise my cup up and give you guys a virtual toast to the happy hour.
Indeed.
Hey, Wes.
My question, we're looks like we're going to be pretty loaded at cornerback this year. And I wanted to find out what you guys thought would be our top 4 guys in the rotation and the 2 guys you believe will start.
That's a good question. I'm putting a lot of chips in Jarvis Brownlee's direction. I really like Jarvis Brownlee. Aslan looks a little skeptical. I'm putting a lot of chips in Jarvis Brownlee. I'm also putting some chips in Brandon Moore. He got Mackenzie Milton's endorsement. I'm going with him. And then I like Jarian Jones, Miko Dotson, Akeem Dent, those guys to back up. That's where I'm going.
I'll go with Miko and Bam starting. I don't want to delete the Bam. I don't know him. I don't want to call him a nickname. I'm not his friend. Call him Brandon Moore. Brandon Moore, and then who did I say before that?
Miko
Dotson.
Those are my 2 starters, and then Jarian, and I'll give you Jarvis as a top backup.
That's what I was. I'm actually. I don't know if you saw the offensive thing I did in the scholarship breakdown. I started going through the defensive backfield. Man, it's crazy how many guys they have coming back there. But I kind of with Ira. I think I like what I saw to Brownlee at the end of the year. I'm gonna go with Miko as well for those 2. But the nice thing is there's a lot of options. Options are a good thing, and it should be a really fun spring practice to see how this plays out.
And Ira mentioned him. I'm not saying he'll start. I like those 2 are probably the 2 leaders in the clubhouse. I did like Brownlee a lot too. But man, again, I just can't stress enough that Akeem Dent was a good player as a freshman.
I guess
a almost freshman All-American who could have had 7 interceptions if he didn't catch like a seal that year. If he could catch, he would have had 5 or 6 interceptions that year. And he was good. He made plays. He led the team in pass breakups or was close. And then this past year, he was a ghost. And if he can regain, or just get better, if he can regain that 2019 form, but be improved because it's 2 years later, I think he's a wild card where he could be one of those guys in a money year. Now, again, I know I'm saying that for a guy that played 4 games, and look at those. Look at all that orange and yellow on that.
This is 19. This is 19, man. This was
okay. All right.
All-American year.
Yeah, look, green cover there. He had some blue in there against Wake.
Look, I think the thing is, like, what's so weird about that whole situation is, say he played a lot of safety that year, but everything we heard was he really didn't want to play safety. He wanted to play corner. And then last year they moved him to corner, and it was kind of a disaster whenever he was in the game. So I know he dealt with injuries last year.
Yeah, he did, and so don't you wonder? Like, but he's certainly, and I'm not just one of those guys that he was a 5-star in high school, so that means he's going to be awesome in college. But I thought we saw enough glimpses out of him as a true freshman on a terrible defense to think that, man, there might be something to him. And then he was nothing this year at all. So to me, he's a wild card that could sneak in there and give some real contribution.
All right, Wes, who's your starting 4? Or top 4, rather.
Well, there's one name. There's one name you guys have left off, and I've been hearing a lot of buzz about that nobody wants to be part of, and that's Demore Tate.
Good point.
He's another wild card.
Good point. Yeah, we just.
So I think Demore. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we just haven't personally seen him, but yeah, I mean he was the highest recruited player in Norvell's class last year. Yeah. He definitely should be in the mix.
I think Demore Tate and Bam, and then I think backing up, I think Brownlee and Dotson. I'm anxious to see a healthy Miko Dotson. I think he's going to have a big year.
Absolutely.
Can I ask Wes a question real quick?
Go for it, Ira. Go for it.
Wes, tell me about the Villages. You sound way too young to live in the Villages. What's going on in the Villages, and why are you there?
Okay, so good question. So I actually live in a home built by the Villages. They own the property, but the Villages, my kids go to this charter school in the Villages, and you have to have qualifying employees to send your kids there. And it is inside the Villages itself. But yeah, that's exactly and I'm actually in Oxford, which is just outside of the Villages, but I use the Villages because I know everybody probably knows where that's at. So
gotcha.
Yeah. That's the backstory there. Yeah, I could live in the Villages. They have to allow a certain percentage of people under 55, but you cannot have underage children, which I have 2 minor children that, I'm not allowed to live there. Now, once they're grown, I can go get on the golf course, grab my golf cart, and live in the Villages. No problem.
There we go.
There you go.
Nice.
I've always wondered, Wes, every time you call in, I've always wondered. So thanks for solving the mystery.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, one other thing, since Gene mentioned about the spring game, April 10th, if all goes well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. And Corey and Aslan have touched on it on the show, and I've called in and we talked with them. But I was wondering if Gene is trying to lock down a spot for the Wake Up Warchant Listener Appreciation Party.
We are, yeah. I mean, it all depends on how much everything's open come that weekend, but man, there's all kind of possibilities, whether that's the night before, we've had we'll talk to the boosters, see if we can get up there in the club section again, maybe do something beforehand. But yeah, I'm all for doing something. I think Corey and Aslan doing a little live broadcast, maybe a little pregame live.
Okay.
That might be something fun to do. There's all kind of cool possibilities. We might have, and we can't say yet until it's official. We might have something else pretty cool going early, maybe that first week of spring practice that I think will be really exciting for Warchanters. So a lot of good stuff coming, but let's cross our fingers that we're able to pull some of this stuff off.
All right, Wes, appreciate you.
Thank you, Wes.
Good.
Thanks,
yeah,
Wes.
Yeah, guys, you don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to Warchant, eat that Zaxby's, and go Noles. Have a good evening, fellas.
Right. Fantastic.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate that.
In the Villages.
Ira, you knew about the Villages. I didn't know about that. Is that like Boca del Vista Phase 2 from Seinfeld? I mean, what is it? Is that what that is?
Oh man, it's Aslan can tell you. I mean, it's they basically plop down a retirement community in the middle of the state, and it's as big as, I mean, I don't know, it might be the biggest city in the state. I mean, it's enormous, and apparently, I mean, you hear some stories down there. You old people,
getting after it.
I'm just saying.
It sounds like it's like hedonism. You remember those cruises they used to advertise on the beach? It's hedonism for, older folk, like Ira. who's over 50.
That's why I wanted
Go
to
down
ask
there
him.
and still live the life.
I was wondering if he had some insight for me, but yeah, but it's apparently what happens in the villages stays in the villages. So
The ripping and the tearing and the ripping. We got a young man. We have a young caller calling us here. Tommy apparently goes by T-Bone, maybe in Bardstown, Kentucky. I don't know where Bardstown is in the Bluegrass State, but he's got a question for us. Tommy, we're all ears. Don't be shy now. You waited so long. We're ready for you, Tommy. You there, man?
What a letdown, T-Bone.
Oh,
huge letdown.
Tommy.
Man, Tommy in the pocket for a long while. Like almost 41. Actually, maybe it's my fault. I don't think I hit the talk button.
Aslan.
Whoopsies. Whoopsies.
Can you hear us?
There goes the perfect.
Hey, I heard it.
Tommy, sorry about that. The whole world is listening to you, Tommy from Bardstown, Kentucky. What's on your mind, friend?
Wake up, let's go.
Oh, nice.
Go, Tommy.
Oh, T-Bone.
Did you guys ever play? Did one of y'all play for Florida State ever?
Okay. No,
I was a nose tackle back in the day, right?
I played intramural football and intramural slow pitch softball. But no, I never got to wear the spear or anything that mattered for this great university that your parents are probably big fans of.
Tommy, my name is actually Corey Simon. I played defensive tackle in the late 90s and was a first-round pick. Your dad or your mom can show you some of my highlights, but I was really good. I've shed a few, but yeah, I played and Ira can attest. I was dominant.
T-Bone, don't listen to him. He's lying.
Go ahead, Tommy.
If you guys ever played for Florida State, what position would you have?
Quarterback. I'd have been holding Chris Winkie. I'd been holding the clipboard.
I don't know, man. I don't know that you're the leader we need at a quarterback. I think a quarterback has to be a lead by.
We're gonna mute you. You don't talk down to me like that, Corey Clark. I'm just kidding.
I thought for sure Aslan was going to say kicker.
Oh yeah, I could have maybe pulled that off. That's a good one, Gene. Yeah.
No, but I'd want to be the backup quarterback. I mean, you don't get hit. You get the prestige of being a quarterback at Florida State. That's I'm all down with that.
I would be a receiver, like a slot receiver. I think Kenny Shaw type.
No. You're what's his name with the Buffalo Bills? You're about the same size. Who am I thinking of?
You're the Wes Welker before Wes Welker.
Yeah. Except without the speed or fast twitch or any of that. Yeah. Our hands.
I feel like I could have been a 2018 offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's.
I bet you would grade out better than Juwan Williams. I almost guarantee 9.5. You could do that, Ira.
You could help DeAndre Francois up from the ground as well as any of those other guys could have.
Hey, Aslan, ask Tommy if he's going to play at Florida State.
Yeah. He can hear you.
Yeah. When I grow up, I really want to play for Florida State, and I played when I was 7 or 8. I played for the Eagles tackle football.
All right.
Nice.
On the right track. Hey, Tommy, tell your mom and dad hi, and thanks so much for calling.
All right, let's go, Noles.
That's right. Go Noles. Thank
you, Tommy. Look forward to seeing you in the recruiting database. Hopefully you get up to a 5-star, buddy.
Take care.
All right, there we go. All right, we got another caller in the queue. Wants to talk about when they became a Florida State fan. His name is Josh. You are the last caller of the day. We're all ears, Josh.
Hey, yeah, just wanted to call in. Love the show. Started watching about a year and a half ago. And I was actually born at TMH on a game day, and my parents had to sign a waiver before I could go home saying I would be a Florida State fan.
What game was it?
Honestly, don't know. A little young to remember, and I actually haven't looked everything up to see what game it was. But back in 1984, and been a Florida State fan ever since. And fun fact, my granddad actually owned the Tallahassee Mall barbershop.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Good story there. It's too bad Corey checked out. He'd probably have that game memorized. He'd know when that was in 84.
Yeah. You'll be able to pull up
Yeah, it was October 20th, 1984.
All right, let me see if I can pull it up. You got a question in the meantime while I do some research?
Biggest question I got, what do y'all think is the best all-around receiver that Florida State ever had? Not necessarily the most electrifying, just the best day in and day out. Mine's Anquan Bolden.
Oh, okay.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's electric. I would still have to go with Peter Warwick. I mean, I know he was also electrifying, but here's what's hard about Anquan Bolden. He didn't have the quarterback. I don't know if you put him with Charlie Ward, for instance, what happens there. I mean, he had a little bit of Winky, I think, his freshman year, but after that he had Rick, so that kind of was hard to judge. So I don't know about that, but I mean, still all around, everything Winky did, he should have won the Heisman that year if not for the Dillard's thing. He was the MVP of the 99 national championship run. So to me, it still has to be, Warwick has to be him.
That's right.
It's 7 times, and it's good that Corey's back because 7 times is pimping Rashad Green. Corey thinks Rashad should be in the conversation, where I think some people overlook Rashad. Greatest receiver, not like most spectacular, but all around, day in, day out. Who was the best receiver in FSU history?
Yeah, I still think it's Peter Warwick, but Rashad Green is in the top 3 maybe. I mean, it's hard to Sellers, Biletnikoff, those guys are all in the conversation too. But modern history, I'd say it's Peter Warwick 1, Rashad Green 2.
All right.
Rashad Green was awesome in big games too.
Yeah.
He including Auburn. He was just awesome.
What was the date again on that birthday of yours, Josh?
October 20th, 84.
There we go. Tulane. Florida State played Tulane.
You remember that game, Corey? 84 Tulane?
No, I'm going to assume they won though.
They did. They did. 27-6. Moved to 5-1 on the season.
Corey, you might have missed it, but Josh said that before he was born that day in TMH, and before his parents were allowed to leave the hospital with him, they had to sign something saying he would be a Seminole.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Well, it's his parents' story.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That would be funny if TMH actually did that. Like, hey, you better raise them right.
It actually, I've still got it somewhere buried in my closet, but it actually has a Osceola on Renegade as the little logo with TMH on it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
I feel like 84 is like the sweet spot to be born as a Florida State fan because you were coming of age as a sports fan, like 9 or 10 years old, right when Charlie Ward was there and right when they went on that run. But I guess then you get the down years when you're in your 20s. So who knows?
All right, Josh.
It's all good. I know that the first game that I remember was actually at Williams-Brice Stadium, and that was the year that Dion asked or told the fans they should ask for their money back.
Oh, right.
And that's the first one I can remember.
Wow. Good stuff.
That was you were 4. You were 4 at that game.
Yeah.
So did you move to South Carolina right away?
Right.
Okay.
I was asking if you moved to South Carolina right away or if you had spent some time in Tallahassee as a youngin'.
Moved to Tallahassee or moved to Greenville from Tallahassee when I was about 5.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. It was a good run. It was a good run.
Ended up here in, unfortunately, Tiger Country. But ended up going to USC for college because my parents told me I'd never graduate if I went to Florida State.
Smart.
Awesome.
Smart.
All right, Josh, we're going to let you go, man. Thanks for the call.
Too much partying in.
No doubt. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Josh. Hey, by the way, I looked up I was curious that Tulane game. I looked it up real quick. Corey, you'll like this. So FSU rushes for 303 yards. Of course, you had Greg Allen going for 111, but I like this. This was a Joe Wessel game. He blocked and returned the punt block for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was the 84, man. It was like every other game.
Joe Wessel.
Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thanks to everybody who hit the thumbs up. If you haven't, go ahead and hit it now. Thanks to Trent, Mark, Curtis, Shane, Thomas, Redbeard, Ray, 7 Toms for the tips. Much obliged. Ira, we know there's a basketball game on Saturday. What else is going to be cooking on warchant.com? between here and there?
I'm actually putting up a one of the next hot boards by Michael, looking at running backs for the next class. I'm putting that up actually shortly after this ends. I'm writing a feature about Raekwon Evans for the basketball team, and we'll have and then we're gonna make Corey do some work here at some point. And Gene's continuing his breakdown of the scholarship numbers, and we ran that yesterday. It's still up on the site, where it's a good breakdown of where FSU is in scholarships on offense, and then he'll have defense coming up here soon. So plenty of coverage coming out the weekend. And like you said, Clemson, that game is at 3:00 Saturday, so we'll be covering that as well.
Sounds good. Corey, thanks for coming back in here. Gene, as always,
you got it.
your presence, greatly appreciated. Again, everybody, thanks for watching. Promo code's Warchant30. Join the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. We'll catch up with you all next week. Thanks for watching. Say bye, everybody.
Good night.